Good morning. I'd like to call the Putnam County Board of County Commissioners meeting to order for May 10th, Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. I'd like to welcome everybody here this morning. We'll begin our meeting by asking Pastor of the Open Door Church of God, Steve Bukowski, to come up to deliver the invocation. And we're honored today to have a young man, Dalton Bogdan, who's with the United States Air Force. He's a graduate of Interlochen High School, and he's Airman First Class with the U.S. Air Force, and he will lead us in the pledge. So please stand if you're able.
Good morning. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we come before you today humbly. Often we make reference to your word where we say and declare that this is the day that the Lord has made. Truly you have made it today. Lord, we say these things because you are our creator. You have set the steps before us. Today, Lord God, we look for you for guidance. We ask you, Father, for wisdom. We ask you, Lord, that as we breathe every breath, we seek your wisdom and your provision in all we say and do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Bukowski, and thank you, Dalton Bogdan, and thank you for your service, young man. A little different in our schedule today. We do have a shade meeting, which the commissioners and staff will move into another room to talk about a workman's compensation case. And so as soon as we get back, we'll resume our regular meeting. So we'll take a recess for the shade meeting. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to reconvene the regular Board of County Commission meeting, and thank you for your patience. Gentlemen, the first item of business is approval of minutes as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as stated in our agenda packet.
Second.
Okay, we got a proper motion by Commissioner Harvey, and we got a couple of seconds. I'll take Commissioner Turner's. So any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're going to move the agenda around a little bit, and we're going to push the Port Authority off for a few minutes, and we're going to go down to presentations, and I'm going to move that around a little bit. So we're going to start with a presentation from Parks and Recreation, East Putnam Park presentation. So I'll ask Mr. Kevin Stevens to come forward, and I'll ask Commissioner Turner to start with how we arrived at this point to recognize an individual in this community.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if this thing's working or not. My mic is not working. Okay, better. A while back, we had the opportunity, and we were contacted by Judge Ed Hedstrom to make an offer to the county to accept the park in East Palatka, the community center. This community park has a lot of history. I actually played ball there when I was a young child. It was a really good offer. It was the best part about it, I think, was that the only strings that came with it was the best string of all, that we would name the park after Jerry Beedenball. So today, the family's here, and they don't know about it. So that's why you're here this morning. The sign, can I tell them about the sign yet, Mr. Chairman? You just did? Okay. The sign that I have in front of me, if y'all will go ahead and uncover it, if I won't ruin your thunder, Kevin. This is the sign that will be displayed at the community park in East Palatka, the Jerry Beedenball Community Park. Like I said earlier, this was an honor for the county to be able to do this, a great honor. And we appreciate all he ever did for us. Mm-hmm. We appreciate the offer to have this park. We hope to take it to another level as soon as we can. Maybe a trailhead for the bike path, maybe other things like a pavilion or what have you in the future when we can. But I wanted to go first this morning just where I could, before everybody else did, I could thank you for all he did for the county and the youth and other things, and also to thank Ed for bringing this to us along with that, to give us this opportunity. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Turner. And before I have Kevin Stevens come up, and then I'll say a few words from Parks and Recreation, and then have the family come up and say a few words, hopefully, and we'll get some pictures. I never met my father-in-law. He had passed away before I met my now wife of 34 years. And I always said, from what I hear and talk to people over those years, he's the greatest man I never knew. I did not know Mr. Jerry Beedenball. Never met him, but everything that I have heard since I've been a commissioner, and it's been a lot, was positive things of a man, a family that just gave over and above probably what was required or asked, but that was his love. And so this is just another honor to be able to recognize somebody that probably wouldn't want it. But this will stay, and this park will be used, and hopefully we'll be able to develop it. And it's just wonderful to have Miss Toby Beedenball here and family. So Kevin, if you want to come up and say a few words, and then we'll have the family come up. It's just truly an honor.
Yes, sir. I just have an appreciation letter that I would like to express to the family. On behalf of the citizens of Putnam County and the Parks and Recreation Department, would like to express our sincere gratitude to not only the Bedenbaugh family, but all those who made this possible. The donation of this property will serve as a playground as well as a green space to the youth of Putnam County for generations to come. Your generosity exemplifies the partnership between a government agency and the citizens it serves. Each time a citizen drives by and sees the sign marking this park and the playground established, they'll know that a family gave from their heart for the best interest of all of us. And again, thank you so much.
That's wonderful.
If I could ask the family to come up, if you would, if you're able to do so.
You don't want her to get on to you now. You're the judge.
You can tell we're part of a team, can't you? We both have that.
That's so beautiful.
Yes, it did, it certainly did, and I certainly appreciate it.
Your husband was a fine man.
Thank you.
Held in high regard. Yes, ma'am. He was always kind to me. Helped me out a lot when I started out.
That was his right. Yeah, that was his right.
Did I understand Paul correctly, his father-in-law was Jerry Bedenbaugh?
No,
Okay.
he said he never knew his father.
Okay,
But what he heard was.
I got you, okay. I was
But you
like,
really was a great man.
no, I know Mr. Bedenbaugh.
Did you know him?
I actually had a conversation with somebody yesterday. So Don set up a building supply company, one of our suppliers. I said, we haven't had a real lumberyard yet since, Ernest Bull's buying it.
Oh, he was a great
And he, yeah, and I bought it. When I first started off my career, that's where we bought all of our plumbing, all of our siding, window frames, all that came from him.
Yeah, but one of them days.
My first note came from him.
And he would tell you, if you don't have the money right now, just pay me this.
We bought concrete in those trailers that mixed it as you went down the road.
I remember that, yeah.
Oh, you said that's the good part.
Yep.
Good job, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very special. We'll move down to actually our first presentation that I moved out of the way, but we're going to ask Miss Kathy Fix with the Coast Guard Auxiliary. We're going to read a proclamation. I'm asked Commissioner Harvey to read it, recognizing National Safe Boating Week, which is May 21st through the 27th, I believe. So, Ms. Fishers, you'll meet me at the podium.
Mr. Chairman, Putnam County Proclamation Number 2022-040, National Safe Boating Week. For over 100 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreational activity. From coast to coast and everywhere in between, people are taking to the water and enjoying time together, boating, sailing, paddling, and fishing. During National Safe Boating Week, the U.S. Coast Guard and its federal, state, and local safe boating partners encourage all boaters to explore and to enjoy America's beautiful waters responsible. Safe boating begins with preparation. The Coast Guard estimates that human error accounts for most boating accidents and that life jackets could prevent nearly 86% of boating fatalities. Through basic boating safety procedures, carrying life-saving emergency distress and communications equipment, wearing life jackets, attending safe boating courses, participating in free boat safety checks, and staying sober when navigating, we can help ensure boaters on America's coastal, inland, and offshore waters stay safe throughout the season. National Safe Boating Week is observed to bring attention to important life-saving tips for recreational boaters so they can have a safer, more fun experience out of the water throughout the year. Whereas on an average, 650 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S., 75% of these fatalities are caused by drowning. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they only wore their life jackets. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I, Robert W. Pickens, do hereby support the goals of Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 21st to 27th, 2022 as the National Safe Boating Week and the start of a year-round effort to promote safe boating. In witness, therefore, I urge all those who boat to practice safe boating habits and wear a life jacket at all times while boating, done, ordered, and adopted this 10th day of May 2022. Mr. Chairman, I move this proclamation forward for approval.
There's a proper motion, proper second. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Proclamation passes. Thank you.
All right, guys, I have a challenge for everybody this year. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now you
Okay.
can.
I have a challenge for everybody this year. May 20th is Wear Your Life Jacket to Work Day. So that means since all of y'all have just now approved that National Safe Boating
Is that
Week is
really a day
acknowledged the
now?
next day, you need to wear your life jacket so you can set an example to all the children that are out there. National Safe Boating Week comes at the beginning, right before Memorial Day. And what that, in theory, is the start of summer, is what everybody acknowledges it as. What this does is it gives us a time to reflect on, is your boat safe? Are your life jackets in good condition? Do your children know how to put a life jacket on? Which is, I'm children's education, so that's my forte. I believe that the children should know how to put their own life jacket on, know that they like it, and know that it's comfortable. These are different things that we teach throughout the year. And we go to schools, we go to different community events, different things. But this year, we really need y'all to help set an example by wearing your life jacket Friday, wear your life jacket to work day on the 20th of May. I appreciate that y'all have supported me for 16 years since we've been doing this. And it does make a difference. It shows that the county that I live in, the cities that I live in also supports National Safe Boating Week. We have all these lakes and the river, and we are just so blessed and fortunate that it's all of our duties to make sure that we all stay safe on the water. Thank you.
Good deal.
Yes, sir.
Do you still, as a Coast Guard auxiliary, do inspections for boats?
Free of charge.
Free of charge, to make sure that you have everything that you need, and then you get a sticker on to put on your boat's plate. How often do you do those? Are they advertised in the newspaper or on the internet?
We used to have a blurb in the Plaquemine Daily News, but for some reason it's just not been in there lately. That they just contacted me, give me a call, which I don't have any cards with me. I apologize. But Matt has my number and everything. What it is you just call or say, hey, get a hold of Kathy, And I can meet with you at your home, I can meet with you at the boat dock, I can meet with a group of you. You know, I've done neighborhoods, you know, where they'll get their, because we're talking everything from canoes, kayaks, paddleboards. It's done the first part of every year. Usually it takes till February to get our stickers in, but we usually start headlong first in February. And then you have the National Safe Boating Week, just like, now, I will say one more thing. There's kids canoes, kids cops, kayaks, kids canoes, kayaks, however it goes, kids, cops, and kayaks. That will be June 1st, the first Saturday in June in Crescent City at Lake Stella. Anybody that has a canoe, a kayak, wants to come, bring their children. It's just to show that all the kids in the areas, that the police officers are there for us. They are our friends, at the same time teaching safe boating because of the areas, how these kids can be safe on the water if they ever were with somebody else. So that is the first Saturday, and it's at 9 o'clock on Lake Stella. So if you have any of those items, even a regular boat, bring it, and we'll be glad to check them for you and do free vessel exams.
Okay, all right, thank you. Now we'll get a photo.
Now we get a photo.
Okay, all right, come up.
Yeah, they don't believe it if I don't get a photo. No, it does just enough to be dangerous. Now, I will be looking around for everybody to have these life jackets on, and I do have my camera, May 20th on Friday, and that's everybody out here too, including sheriffs, police officers, parks, everybody else.
Commissioner Turner, I want to see a picture of you with that on.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I got him.
Oh, sure.
Okay, Commissioners, we're going to juggle this agenda around just a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and move down to codes enforcement. We have a gentleman that has a case and needs to get out here for a medical appointment. So it's okay with the representatives from Cars, Riggs, and Ingram. So I've asked Thomas Moore to move forward. We'll do the codes cases and then come back to the audit report.
We doing all?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do all three of them. Mr. Moore, thank you.
Morning, y'all. Morning, Commissioners. You want to start with the first one, or you want to start with him, or?
Do the last, I think the last one, Mr. Smith, is that correct?
To start with Mr. Smith?
Just start with the first one. I don't think this is going to take that long.
Okay. The property address is 1146 Donovan Avenue, Interlochen. Property owner's name is Rachel McCarthy.
Can you speak up a little bit, Tom?
Violation was unsafe mobile home. And the original fine amount is $56,785.90. Total cost of enforcement action was $2,725. The property owner has recently purchased the property. It is now compliant and is requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 120 days. She had requested a little more extra time.
Okay. All right, Commissioners, any questions of staff? Is the applicant here? the owner here? Okay, seeing none, what's the pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion
Okay,
that we reduce the 2725 by $500 on the administrative monthly to 2225 if paid within 120 days.
Second.
okay, we've got a proper motion, and do we have, and a proper second? Okay, any further discussion?
Yeah, I guess, so you're thinking about the administration in half?
Math.
Just cut in half. Yes, sir.
I'm fine.
Okay. All right, seeing more discussion, all in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay.
Second case is the address is 211 North 6th Street, Palaca, Florida. Property owner's name is Ray Sean Freeman and Jamal White. The violation was care premises and sanitary facilities required. The original fine amount was $8,418.50. Total cost of enforcement action was $1,207. Property owners recently purchased the property. It is now compliant and is requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend the reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, any questions of staff? Okay, seeing none, Paul, do you have a question? Your light's still on. I'll get on. Okay. All right, is the applicant here? Okay, do you wish to speak? Do you wish to speak, sir? Yes. Could you, sir, come, if you can come up and state your name and address for the record?
All right.
Okay,
Hello,
yeah,
my
just-
name is Rayshawn Freeman. The actual property address is 130 Viceroy. It's not 211, it's 130 in Satsuma. When the property already had the garbage and miscellaneous things on it when we purchased the property, and we didn't know it already had previous dealings going on with fines and whatnot, but we got it took care of.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
I just want to make sure that I'm on the right case here.
The address is wrong. It shows it as being in Palaca, but it's actually in Satsuma.
Do you have a notation of that?
Yes, sir.
Is that just a clerical?
It's 130, it's clerical, it's 130 Viceroy.
Okay.
I put his mailing address on there by mistakes.
But this is case number 2021-00002.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we reduce the fine to $1,127 if paid within 90 days.
Second.
Okay, we've got a proper motion on the floor, and we've got a proper second. Any further discussion? Okay,
I just have a question.
okay. Commissioner Rawls?
Sir, would you be able to pay this within 90 days?
Could I get 120 days? It's kinda-
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend my motion for 120 days.
Okay, we got
And
amended,
second.
okay, we got a proper amended motion and a proper amended second to extend it to 120 days. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, case passes. Thank you, good luck with your project. Okay, Mr. Moore, last case.
The address is 238 Hermits Drive. The property owner's name is heirs of William T. Smith. Violation was care premises. Original fine amount was $28,587. Total cost of enforcement action was $2,092. Property owner is now, the property is now compliant. The owner's requesting a fine reduction. If the board approves, we recommend a reduced fine to be paid within 90 days.
Okay, the applicant is here. Mr. Smith, would you like to say anything?
Mr. Maynard,
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Maynard, would you like to come forward?
Have to.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I just want to thank I just want to thank the Board of County Commissioners for helping reduce this fine, if you will. I have a lot of investment already in it. I was the mortgage holder, and my mortgagee passed away in June. So I've had a lot of difficulty trying to get it back in my name with all the liens and stuff on it. So I appreciate anything you can do for me.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey?
that we reduce the fine to $1,792 if paid within 90 days.
We've got a
We're not
proper
splitting
motion
it?
on the floor to reduce it
Splitting it?
Just
Too much math?
$1,792 if paid within 90 days.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we've got a proper second. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Good luck with your project.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
Thomas. Okay, Commissioners, now we'll move down to item C on presentation, and thank you for your patience. We'll ask Ms. Amy Miller, Frank Mason with Cars, Riggs, and Ingram to come forward for the presentation of the fiscal year 2021 annual audit. And welcome this morning, and thank you for accommodating us.
Good morning. My name is Frank Mason. I'm the engagement partner on the audit, and we're happy to be here to present your audit results to you this morning. We're also happy to report that the audit reports are the one that you want. It's called an unmodified opinion. It's the highest level of opinion that you can get, and I'm going to turn it over to Amy in a moment. She's going to run through more of the specifics of our reporting to you, but I do want to take a moment to thank all of the staff for helping us. Most of you have actually been involved in the audit, and I recognize your names, although I haven't met you in person. So we're happy to be done. You are our first audit that we're presenting in our counties. We do 5 counties out of my office, so we're happy to be here today, and congratulations. With me today is Amy Miller. She is also a partner, and also not up here with us is Michelle Ham, who is a supervisor that ran the engagement for us. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Again, like Frank said, thank you for allowing us to come and present the audit report to you this morning. My name is Amy Miller, and I'm an audit partner, and I also managed the audit again this year for the county for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021. Before I go over the results, I'd like to remind you that the objectives of our audit is to give an opinion as to whether the county's financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects in conformity with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles, and to report on internal controls over financial reporting and compliance that could have a material effect on the financial statements or on the major federal and state grant programs. I'd like to turn your attention to page 143 of your audit report. It should be in your book, page 143, and that is a good summary of the results of the audit for fiscal year 2021. That page, as you can see, it includes the type of opinions on the audit report. Like Frank said, they were good opinions. They were all unmodified opinions for both the financial statements and for the federal and state major programs. The unmodified opinion means that is the clean opinion. For the financial statement opinions, this includes the opinions on the governmental activities, the business type activities, each of the 6 major funds, and also the aggregate remaining funds. This year, your 6 major funds were the General Fund, the Miscellaneous Grants Fund, the Better Place Plan Fund, the Road Projects Fund, and the Waste Management Fund, and also the East Putnam Water Fund. So 6 major funds this year. Also, in that summary page, you will see that we reported that there were no material weaknesses and no significant deficiencies found this year. Also a good result. And then on page 43, we reported here that the major federal and state grant programs, you received also unmodified opinions on those, so again, the clean opinion. The county expended a total of approximately $14 million in federal expenditures this year and approximately $4 million in state expenditures this year from grants. Of that $14 million in federal, most of that was the Coronavirus Relief Fund, and you can see that was the major federal program this year tested. The major state program this year was the Small County Outreach Program. And the county, again, also qualified as a low-risk auditee under the criteria of federal uniform guidance. In addition to the auditor's reports, there are other reports that we are required to include. Our annual report is required by the rules of the State Auditor General. Those start on page 135 of your audit book, starting with the management letter. Among other areas in the management letter, we are required, the state requires us to apply financial condition assessment procedures, and those are done at the end of the fiscal year. And we look to see if the county meets the definition of a financial emergency or deteriorating financial condition, as defined by the Florida statutes. The procedures show that the county does not fall into the condition of financial emergency, and you also do not meet the statutory definition of deteriorating financial condition. So both, again, good results. Additionally, based on the 2021 expenditures, the general fund's available fund balance, available meaning the unassigned and assigned fund balance, are sufficient to cover approximately 4.5 months of general operating expenditures in the next year. So your available balances are better than the GFOA's recommendation of 2 months. We are also required by the state to comment on whether any prior findings have been corrected. That's also in the management letter. And we have reported here again that there were no prior audit findings that were uncorrected. So all previous findings have all been corrected and not repeated this year. The report on page 137, this report is required again by Florida statutes. And this tests your compliance with Florida Statute Section 218.415 regarding investments. We saw no issues with investment compliance again this year and have reported here that, in our opinion, the county complied in all material respects with those statutes. And then on page 138 is the last report that we are required to present. And again, required by the state. This attests the county's compliance with certain sections of Florida Statutes Chapter 365 regarding authorized expenditures and uses of E911 funds. Again, based on our tests here, we have reported that the county complied in all material respects with these statutes also. This concludes the presentation of the results of the audit. And again, I would also like to say thank you to Mr. Suggs and Mr. Reynolds and Susan Frank and Ryan Marabito and all of the staff that have helped get us all the information that we've needed. I know it's a very long process and lots of questions that we have to ask and lots of information that we have to get, but we appreciate everybody doing what they could do to get us everything that we need in order to meet the deadline. The state requires March 31st for that reporting to be done, and that was met again this year. And so that concludes our presentation. We're happy to take any questions that you might have for us today.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Amy. Administrator Suggs, Julianne, do y'all want to make any comments before I open up for questions from the commission?
Mr. Chairman, the only comments that I would make here this morning is that, although I appreciate the recognition here this morning, it certainly was the work and effort of our financial department, headed up by Ms. Julianne Young, and the finance department at the clerk's office, the Honorable Matt Reynolds, getting this audit put together. And we're very proud of the fact that the audit came back very clean this year, and any of the issues that may have been pending from last year has been corrected as well. So kudos to those folks and the hard work for getting that done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Reynolds, any comments at all?
No, sir. I have nothing else to add.
Okay. Okay, commissioners, any questions?
All right. Thank
That's
you.
a big, good report. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Okay, commissioners, I got everything back in order. I'll recess the regular Board of County Commission meeting, and I'll convene the Port Authority meeting. And first item of business is approval of the minutes presented.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes stated in our agenda.
Second.
Okay, we've got a proper motion to approve the minutes by Commissioner Harvey and a second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor can say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move down to public comment. Any individuals wishing to make public comment on Port Authority items? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that portion and general discussion. Commissioners, any Port Authority items you'd like to discuss? Okay, seeing none, any update from staff at all?
Not at this time, Mr. Chairman. When we get some more movement on the purchase of the property, I'll get back with the commission.
Okay. All right, seeing no further discussion, I'll adjourn the Port Authority, reconvene the Board of County Commissioners meeting. Commissioners will move down to item 6, public comment on agenda items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation on matters which the board has received no prior information as part of the agenda. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We hope you filled out a public comment card. You don't have to. Anybody wishing to make public comment on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we'll close that portion and we'll move down to the consent agenda. Commissioner, any items you wish to pull? We'll start with Commissioner Rawls.
I have none.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey,
I have none, sir.
Mr. Adamsack.
I have none.
Okay, Commissioner Turner,
I have none.
and I have none.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve items A through H on the consent agenda.
Second.
We've got a proper motion and a proper second to approve all the agenda items as presented. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, it passes. Commissioners, we'll move down to item 8, which is a separate item. It's the,
Mr. Chairman,
award of the roof replacement at the government complex.
I need to declare a conflict on this item.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Turner has a conflict on this item, will not be voting on this particular item. Okay, as the information that was presented, Commissioners, are any questions on this or from staff? Do you have a presentation at all, Julianne, or just what was presented to us?
No, sir, everything was included in your packet. I believe it takes you through the process that was followed within our procurement code, and we are recommending an award.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the
Mr.
board?
Chairman, I make a motion that we approve item A, the bid award 22-15, roof replacement at the government complex.
Okay, we got a proper motion to award, to move forward, item number 8. Do we have a proper second?
Second.
Okay, we got a proper second by Commissioner Adamsack, proper motion by Commissioner Harvey. Any further discussion?
Under discussion?
Yeah, discussion.
So I got concerns about this for several reasons. I don't mind doing roof work the way they're describing, but what we're doing is throwing out the scope of work that was originally bid and then awarding it to the apparent low bidder based on a value engineering that was done by the low bidder. And I'm just wondering if this opens us up to any liability in the future where somebody can come back and say, look, I wasn't given an opportunity to bid it that way. It was just you guys went straight to the low bidder and then adjusted the scope of work. But the one question I have for staff is who came up with the budget and what was the original budgeted amount?
Staff came up with the original budget. The original budget was just over 400 based on an estimate. Staff, the executive director for that division wanted to write the scope so that it would re-roof nuts to bolts, so all the way across. When they actually did the proposal, the procurement process, actual sampling was taken. That was not done prior to writing the scope. And that is how we ended where we are with a revision to the scope because it was based on need only. Now, as far as your question to liability, the process followed is the exact process outlined in your procurement code. That procurement code states that we take the low base bid, wherever that may be, and if it comes in over budget, then we look to value engineer the process. We didn't change the scope, we removed components of it to get an end product to be what we were wanting, which was a roof all the way across that was going to be sustainable for the next 5 to 10 years, and that is where we ended.
We're looking for a roof replacement that's only good for 5
Well,
to
you
10
have
years?
components of each section that have a different lifespan, so you're going to need some maintenance work within 5 years. If we continue our plan, which was developed by that department, we would do some additional maintenance work, and your lowest lifespan, as I understand it, would be a 20-year on one section. The others would have other longevities, obviously.
Is there an NDL warranty that we get for at least 10 years?
On the new section, you're going to get a 20-year NDNL.
Okay.
On the other sections, those were old roofs, so obviously it doesn't involve this particular process.
It says here, option 1 is to remove the specifications. So when you remove the specifications, you've thrown out the original scope.
Only for those sections.
Right, but
So
it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8.
that's why we bid it with 8 different options, and that's why we bid it in 8 different compartments. That's how we do all of our bids at this point. When we do dirt to pave, we bid 30 different roads. Well, we may remove 10 of those if prices come in way above what we've got. It doesn't change your end product. At the end of the day, that's what you're doing. So yes, we're going to remove re-roofing sections 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8, but only because the sampling and the testing showed they do not need to be re-roofed, not because we're going to come back and re-roof them in a different section. Does that make sense? So we would not engage in a value engineering process where we get half a product. But in this particular case, we do not need to re-roof, and so at this point, it doesn't make sense to spend the dollars.
So they're recommending on 2, 3, 4, and 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8, to coat those areas to be able to extend the life. It says they're
That's
estimating.
option 2. Are you in option 2?
Yeah, they're estimating that the life of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 is 10 years. But if we coat it, it's good for 10 years. And I'm not sure that,
Yes, sir, but coating was not part of the specifications. So I appreciate the offer of the vendor, but that would be an add-on that would really go outside the realms of value engineering. So we aren't considering option 2 today. However, that department did indicate they would like to explore that in a year or 2 as part of extending the life of the roof, period. But that is not on the table today because it was not part of that bid.
and then there's the coping cap replacement. It says remove all of that. Where it talks about the metal panels, I'm assuming that's for the parapets. Will we replace the existing metal caps that are going to reuse those?
That's because, Rich, am I allowed to say anything as long as I don't vote on this?
I'll make it easy on you. I'll vote in favor. I'm just trying to get some some clarity because there's too much vagueness in the proposal. There's too much vagueness in the proposal. This is the vendor coming in saying, this is what I'll do for this amount of money.
No.
But it doesn't.
That's not the way value engineering works. Value engineering works in
I don't know about the flood.
Well, okay. So what happens is Mr. Troxel, the executive director at the time, went on the roof with the lowest vendor, the lowest bid of the vendor. They both walked the roof. They together came up with a plan with what they saw based on the testing results and what the needs were at that time. Then Mr. Troxel directed that vendor to come back with a plan that was going to get us where he wanted us. So this is not a situation where the vendor of choice or the vendor of low record comes to us and says, here's what I'll do for these dollars. That's not the way value engineering works. So this was an executive director who went up there with his expertise on the roof and made the determination of what would be needed to make this project whole.
So I think in the future, it would be nice if we had a report from staff that said, based on the results of the bid, everybody came in over budget. We've shifted our focus to this.
Sure. We can accommodate that.
And then we've requested a proposal, because the way I read this, it says the intent of this value engineering, which means they did the value engineering.
Has to be initiated by staff, by our ordinance, and we can accommodate that request for you.
What's been presented to us. So if in fact the staff was one who came up with the specifications for the re-engineered system, I got no problem with that. I'll vote in favor of this.
Thanks, sir.
Commissioner Adams, aye.
I guess my only concern is if the rest of the roof, I mean, we're going to be revisiting this in a few years, obviously, if it's 10 years is what we feel the rest of the roof. The commentary in there is with some other maintenance. Now, we're gonna have to put that out to bid for the proper maintenance and mansard wall repairs? That's
No,
gonna
no,
be a
no, no. The
separate
wall repairs,
part of-
that's all included in the award. What would go back out to bid in a couple of years, and that'll be up to the board, 2 to 3, I would recommend, was Mr. Troxell's recommendation, would be the elastometric coating on all of the roof. That would give the roof a longer life.
So we think with that coating, then maybe we'd get 20 years out of it.
Correct.
So to speak.
That's the goal.
Do we know, and I guess, Jeff, you're the pro, is, they're the close, I don't know. Do we know, would it be benefit us to do that sooner than later? Or does that not,
Not wanting to comment on the thing, but just maybe offering some information. You can't coat the new section for a year. It has to cure. So you may as well wait. It wasn't part of the bid, and so you have to you may as well wait and do this later, and then everything will be done. So hopefully that wasn't too much, Rich, just giving information.
thank you.
Or I'm gonna bust.
That's all I had.
Okay, all right, any further discussion?
To answer your question, I don't know what kind of roof remember, we have, is this TPO, MBA?
Modified bid.
MBA, okay. I'm not a huge fan of the roof coatings, quote unquote. If you have a very smooth MBA product up there, is this granulated? Anybody? Is this granulated roof or is it smooth?
Granulated.
What?
It's granulated.
There's no such thing as a roof in a can. I wouldn't hang my hat on coating it
That's not
and
on the table today.
expecting that in the future. I think that we should.
Can I just ask a couple questions after we vote on this part of it?
Yeah.
After?
I'm answering your question. I personally would want to see us move to replace the roofs as needed and not coat them and hope, because once you go down that road, you can't go back at all, so.
Okay, all right, we've got a motion of second on this particular item, so that'll be a discussion for maybe a workshop. Commissioner Adamczak?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, all right, got a proper motion and a proper second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move down to, have I skipped anything? Anybody checking me over there?
Looks like you got everything crossed off.
I got you.
Okay, all right, we'll move down to comments. Honorable Matt Reynolds, Clerk of Court.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. One thing I'd like to bring up is discussion about biweekly payroll. I know I've mentioned offhand to all of you over the past couple of meetings about pushing back the implementation of biweekly pay to the beginning of the fiscal year. And we spoke briefly about putting it on a workshop agenda to talk about strategizing how to implement that. So just wanted to get input from the board if you guys wanted to talk about that at the second workshop in May or the first one in June, whichever one provides an opportunity to do so. I'll get with administrative staff if that's fine, and we'll get it on the agenda for whichever agenda works for the board. So we
Mr.
can talk
Chairman,
about it, so.
typically the second one in the month
Right.
of
Transportation.
So it may be better for the first one in June.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Either
best,
one.
Matt. Then we'll definitely try not to load that one up too much so we can have time to properly discuss that and try to get a plan together. So it'll be the first workshop in June.
All right, that's what we'll tentatively plan on, and other than that, I have nothing else to add this morning.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Okay, we'll move down to appointments, commissioners. To my far right, Commissioner Adamczak, any appointments?
I have none.
Okay, Commissioner Turner,
I have none today.
Commissioner Harvey,
I have none today.
Commissioner Rawls.
I have none.
Okay, and I have none also. Okay, we'll move down to item 12, public comment on miscellaneous items. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It is not reasonable to expect that the board will engage in debate or deliberation on matters in which the board has received no prior information on the agenda. Please fill out a comment card and you turn them into Ashley over here to my left, your right. Any individuals wishing to make public comment at this time? Okay, all right, seeing none, I'll close the public comment portion on agenda, or miscellaneous items, and we'll move down to closing comments. County Administrator Terry Suggs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The county administrator has no further comments this morning. Thank you.
Okay, County Attorney Rich Commando.
I have nothing, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner comments. I'll start with Commissioner Rawls.
Just want to say that, we are moving into May. We're starting off our summer. Had a great turnout last weekend at the Blueberry Festival in Boswick. We got, looks like lots of other events coming down the pipeline this year. And like we were reminded this morning with the safe boating, we do need to be cognizant of that. Also, we do have a lot of outdoor activities that involve motorsports of all types. So just encourage everybody safe. I attended an event in Daytona last week with my son called Jeep Beach. It was a most interesting accumulation of Jeeps that I've ever seen. They project over 22,000 Jeeps. And we went to the infield of the Daytona Speedway. It was amazing. And I just wonder I talked to several people there about what we could do to entice some of those folks to come over to Putnam County and enjoy Putnam County because they came from as far as California to the west and New York to the north. There were just Jeeps from everywhere. So I think that from a marketing perspective, we should take a look at trying to bring in. That's been going on for a very long time, too. It's not a new event. It's just new to me. So that's all I've got, and I thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. I heard that was quite an event over in Daytona. There's no question about that. Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to report back that I have met with Miss Lane at the Historical Society for Putnam County, and they are looking at the old bank building that we have right over here by the Supervisor of Elections for their archives, and they're looking at doing some fundraisers. First of all, they're going to get someone in there to look at the how they can improve the building and how it can work for them, and then they're going to try to do some fundraisers, look for appropriations, and things in that nature to have the Putnam County Archives over in that building, the old bank building right beside the Supervisor of Elections office. And on another note, yesterday Mrs. Buckner, a friend of ours out in West Putnam, contacted me. She was a little concerned about the Melrose Landing Homeowners Association was reaching out to residents that weren't in that, it appeared to be, and she wanted me to make a public statement that if you've gotten contacted, please just contact the Melrose Landing HOA people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harvey. Commissioner Adamsack?
I think they're in it and they're not.
Had the pleasure to play in 2 golf tournaments at the Placa Golf Course over the past 2 weekends. And there's always seems like there's something going on there as well. So there's opportunities for us to do things in our public almost every weekend here. It's really astounding. The other weekend I was able to take my family out and we did 4 things in like 6 hours. So it's just amazing amount of stuff going on. So just try to get out there and enjoy the outdoors. Obviously, if you're not into the outdoors and you want a big multiplex theater and stuff, you're going to have to travel out of the county. I don't really see those type things coming here in my lifetime, and I don't think that's what Putnam County is all about. So we love the outdoors. We love the beauty of it. Get out and enjoy it all you can, and it's a blessing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adamsack. Commissioner Turner?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know that we kind of making light of it or whatever because it's not real sexy, but I want to be the first to congratulate staff for the hell of a job they just did on the audit. That's the cleanest audit we've had around here in 10 years. 10 years. Not only does it take a great financial department on our side, but it takes one on the clerk side too, and them working together to make this happen. And not only did they not have any material issues this year, they cleaned up all the material issues that had ever happened in the past to get it to even. That's a heck of a deal. That ain't been happening for the 5 years I've been here. So I just didn't want this to pass today without really giving congratulations to all the parties that were due here, and I know there were a lot of people working on it, but this is a really big deal. A really big deal, and I want to thank you. This commissioner wants to thank every one of you for participating and making that happen. And that's all I have today, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Turner. Yeah, and I'd be remiss not to, echo those sentiments, and I think all of us do up here. This is my 6th year, and this is the cleanest audit that we've had. And it's a team effort. I want to thank everybody from each side, all the departments, everything for their participation. And this is just a plus for Putnam County. It truly is. So I do want to recognize Ms. Leota Wilkinson in the audience, Bobby Payne, Representative Bobby Payne's legislative assistant, and thank you for being here this morning. I attended the Blueberry Festival on April 30th. I think I got a promotion from bussing tables to just making sure nobody ran out of coffee. It's absolutely amazing what that small group does up there. A number of vendors and booths and food trucks, but they serve blueberry pancake breakfasts from 7:30 to 12 o'clock solid, nonstop. It's just amazing what they do there. So if that's any occasion of festivals, we're in good shape because people want to get out. And also, as Commissioner Adamsek says and Commissioner Harvey, there's a lot of things going on. There's also a veterans event at the fairground that same day, and the Fruitland Peninsula Historical Society, who's regrouped and really working hard on their archives. They had the tour of homes that day, and there were a couple of other events in other areas of Putnam County. So a lot of things to do. And also this Saturday, I believe it's 3 o'clock at the George C. Miller Middle School, which has been closed. The school board allowed them to use the library for their archives, and they'll have the grand opening there. You do really have to register for that, but that'll be really interesting to see that. So that's all of my comments. We do have a 2 p.m. workshop, and then we have a 5:05 public hearing. So if there's no further business, I will recess this meeting until 5:05. Thank you.